So you're settling with a compromise and release, getting bought out your future medical care, and you want to know how to increase the dollar amount of the settlement, how to get paid a larger settlement at the end. With a compromise and release, this is much more feasible than by resolution with stipulations with request for award. A CNR has more variables in it. There's a lot more fudge factor that goes into a CNR, allowing you to try to push higher and the insurance company to push lower and come to some sort of meeting of the mind. So let's go through those figures. First, a compromise and release will be based on the permanent disability rating. That's generally fairly well set out. Either the primary treating physician or your QME has addressed your level of permanent disability, the level of whole person impairment. That doctor addressed apportionment. That rates out after age and occupation to a final permanent disability number. That number is fairly well set. Not a lot of negotiating to go there. However, the other figures do have quite a bit of variability to them. Next, a compromise and release is going to buy closure. It's going to eliminate your potential right to file a petition to reopen. So within 5 years of the date of injury, if you settled with STIPs, you can file a petition to reopen and say, hey, my condition got worse. My level of permanent disability was here. I went by over time, and now my permanent disability is here. Before you only paid for this amount, now you need to pay for this amount, insurance company. So that right to file a petition to reopen to get paid that difference, you're settling that out. A rough figure that a lot of attorneys use, roughly 10% of the value of the permanent disability. You throw that in for closure value, but really there's a lot of variability. You know best. Do you think your condition's going to get worse? How much time is left between now and the 5-year mark? Quite a bit goes into that. So, compromise and release, settling out permanent disability and your right to reopen. Also settling out all of your future medical care. Here's the biggest variable. How much is your future medical care worth? Insurance company may think $10,000, you may think $50,000. You negotiate, try to find some number in the middle. Did the doctors talk about any need for surgery? Do the doctors talk about a need for pain management? Are there going to be medications? Is it just over-the-counter anti-inflammatories? Or is it going to be opioids and narcotics, stronger pain medications? Are you very young, so you're only 25 years old? You're looking at future medical for the next 60 years. Or are you already 65 years old? You know that you have, God forbid, cancer or something else, and you don't have a whole lot longer. You know these things, and you don't necessarily have to tell the insurance company. You have to be honest. If questions are asked, you can't make a material misstatement, but you know what's going on in your life, and you can negotiate based on your expectations. So, the value of future medical care, again, a big variable. You demand what you feel it's worth. Insurance company offers what they feel it's worth. Then there's a bunch of other little miscellaneous things that go in as well. The insurance company is going to be liable for future mileage. You drive back and forth to go to doctor appointments. If you live very close to your doctor and you don't go to the doctor very often, mileage ain't worth that much. If you live way out in the boonies, the back 40 of some city, and you have to drive an hour to get to the doctor, if the doctors are talking about pain management, you have to go to a doctor once a month and you're young, that mileage could actually add up to be quite a bit over the next 20, 30, 40 years. So mileage factors into it. All of these things are all a bunch of variables, and there's no set figure. There's no specific dollar amount for future medical care that an insurance company has to pay. There's no specific dollar amount for what the mileage is worth over the remainder of your claim. Basically, what's going to happen is you're going to tell the insurance company, thank you, insurance company, for offering $20,000. You based that on $5,000 permanent disability, another $12,000 future medical, a few thousand for closure. However, I'm very concerned about surgery. My doctor says I might need carpal tunnel syndrome surgery, and I might need a revision surgery. I'm going to need at least $40,000. perfectly reasonable to go back and forth with the insurance company. There's a lot of variability there. It just doesn't occur when you're settling with STIPs, because with STIPs, they're just paying out the permanent disability. All that is set almost in stone with whatever the number is, whatever the apportionment is, age and occupation. But with a CNR, you can negotiate. From your perspective, the injured worker, what you want to do is show the insurance company their exposure. The insurance company is going to look at it and try to minimize all of their future exposure. You want to emphasize from the injured worker's perspective, I may need surgery. My doctor referenced that I may need narcotic pain medications. My doctor said I may need pain management doctor visits. And all of these, they really need to be laid out in the medical reports. I've had clients before that have said, well, I'm afraid I need surgery. Well, if a doctor's not talking about you needing surgery and a doctor's not putting it in the reports, chances are an insurance company isn't going to offer you money for surgery if it's not in the reports. So rely on the reports. If the doctors aren't putting things in there that you've talked about, you may want to go back to your doctor and say, hey, doc, you told me that I might need surgery in the future. I didn't see that in your report. Can you please reference that in the next report? That way you can use that. From your perspective, you want to show the insurance company they have exposure, that they should want to close this out. So there's a lot that goes into a compromise and release. I'm sure there are going to be other questions as well. You can drop those down below. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss future videos that come out.